Okay, everybody, welcome to policemotortraining.com. I'm Quinn Redeker, and what we have today is an opportunity for me to walk you guys through and demonstrate for you some of the training drills that I do before I do a motor competition. Sometimes this is also what I do before I'm doing enforcement out on the street. Before I get into that, though, I wanted to let you know a few things. First of all, what you're going to see today, if you're not comfortable, if it looks something that's kind of a little bit unusual, don't attempt it. I don't want you to get hurt. You can get very seriously injured or killed. So I don't want to be responsible for that. If you're not in a position or a place to do that, then don't. Secondly, if you're doing a motor competition or even going to a training event where there are cones, as a rule, for me, I do not jump into cones until two things. One, I've ridden in my mind the entire pattern. Well, what does that mean? Well, I walk it, I memorize it, I sit down and I ride it, I close my eyes, and I go through this thing 10 times. I'll do 10 or 20 runs in my head, so I know exactly where the bike placement's going to be, how I'm going to ride this course. That's number one. Then the second thing is I make sure that I go over and I warm up and I feel good. So what I'm going to show you here are some of those warm-up drills. The nice thing with some of these things that we're going to cover is that you're going to be able to incorporate a lot of the stuff that we work on. Balance ball, trail braking, overlapping controls. So really good counterbalance. Setting up the clutch throttle early. Really, really big deal. And we're going to find different environments for you to be able to work on that. So what I have here, I don't know if the vantage point's really, it's kind of right on me, but essentially what we're going to do is I have about a 250-foot oval. The cones are quite a ways down there. We're going to warm up on an oval. Why do I like to do the oval? Is because it gets your mind set for accelerating, getting off the gas, overlapping the controls, setting up that clutch throttle early, and then turning around. So we're having to do a lot of those things that we work on, but one of the big things people screw up in motor competitions and really tight police-style riding is that they get that clutch in the gray area, and then they kind of just live there. And even in areas where the course opens up and you can really push that bike, they tend to continue to kind of meander through a pattern. So what I like about a long oval is it gets me used to really getting on the throttle. Now also, if you've never been to this place, you don't necessarily know what the surface appraisal is. So we're going to start braking harder and harder and harder so that we can really get an idea how grippy is this ground. Is it slick? If it's really slick, I want to know here in a practice setting where I'm straight up and down hard on the brakes. So from there, then we're going to go to circles. This is just about a 30, 40-foot circle. One of the nice things with that, it warms up the tires. Again, further gets me comfortable with lean angle. It really helps me live in that balance ball position. So rather than moving around a lot, which we will do once we're practicing, I can set up and kind of just the bike will be leaned over and I'll be kind of locked into that position because I'm just going around in circles. And it'll kind of give you that muscle memory idea. You'll be able to see and feel. You'll see your head in the rearview mirror. You'll see, oh, wow, this bike actually will lean a little further than I'm typically comfortable. So this is an opportunity for you to, I don't want to say challenge yourself, but start to get comfortable with more lean angle and living there left and right. So we'll go both ways on the oval and in the circle. Then we have two other things. We have a fast oval. It's about 120 feet apart. So this is one corner over here, and then we're going to go down there. A fast figure eight versus a fast oval. The advantage to a fast figure eight is, again, now I'm trail braking. Because of that fast oval, I'm used to really hammering those brakes and kind of getting into that threshold braking. And I'm driving in, I'm overlapping the controls, I'm setting my clutch throttle up early, I'm balance ball, I'm tracking about a second and a half ahead with my head and eyes as to where I am on the actual course. So if I'm right here, I'm looking over here as I'm coming through this corner, picking it up, bike's leaned over, I'm counterbalanced, clutch is already set up when I'm back over here, and I've got another microphone on the back of the helmet to try to pick up the sound of the bike. Hopefully that comes through so that when we're going through here, you'll be able to hear the motor set up back there. Okay, so this will be the fast oval. And then these cones in here, you'll see down here, these are about 20 feet apart from here to here. This is about a 16-foot space. What I want us to do here is some tight, full lock figure eights. This is going to require some of what I say, that clutch pop, where I'm letting that clutch out a little more than just living in that gray area. I'm giving it a little bit more to put a little bit of power to the rear wheel to help pick that bike up, okay? So you're going to see that, what I call the clutch pop, and again, hopefully you'll be able to hear it with this microphone, but what we want to make sure we're doing, so we're leaning over here, leaned over, heads turned, counterbalanced, nice and smooth. Now, this is full lock, so it's pretty quick. So when I'm here, I want to do that little bit of what I call a clutch pop to pick that bike up and drop it down this way. Head and eyes are turned. I'm in that nice gray area. I'm set. I'm using my feet. I'm using my feet to help push that bike over. Why? It just speeds things up. And also it helps me get my butt off the seat. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that clearly. I'm going to try and set that up so you can. So let's get on the bike and do a little riding. I've talked way too much. I don't know if it's the weather. I just feel chatty today. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is the oval. And like I mentioned before, our goal with this oval is to start getting comfortable with the clutch fully engaged. What do I mean by fully engaged? I mean the clutch is out, okay? So it's fully out. Now, when I'm coming into these turns, I'm slipping the clutch, but this is a long way to go. So in here, I can have that clutch out, right? And accelerate. Now also, I'm overlapping the controls. What does that mean? I'm covering this front brake and I'm using the throttle, okay? So it's important that you're doing both of those things. If you're one of those people that don't cover the front brake and you're just all hands right here on the throttle, and then when you let off the throttle, you grab the brake, that's not going to work here. Stuff's going to start happening a little bit quicker. You need to make sure you try to overlap those controls, okay? So like I mentioned, we're working on lean angle, getting our head and eyes around, but let's get familiar with accelerating here. Now I'm harder on the brakes, set up that clutch throttle. So I'm accelerating hard, I'm over the bike, I'm on the brakes, setting up the clutch throttle, and now I'm around, okay? Because when you go into a cone pattern, there are going to be areas, I promise, there's going to be areas where you can really rip this bike. And also, drive hard, but hard on the brakes. I want to know what this surface appraisal is, okay? But I'm just trying to float on top. Just getting comfortable. So I'm getting some threshold braking. Okay. Now we'll go the other way. So I'm going to just go slow first. So I can accelerate here. The clutch is all the way out. Why is that important? Because I got to set that gray area up before I add lean angle, okay? So I want you to try to listen to the motor. I'm not setting up the gray area here. That was about halfway through the turn. Where am I setting the gray area up? Right about here. And keep in mind, once I'm off the gas, all this area, this is all I'm worrying about right here is braking. That's the only issue I have. That's the only job I have. So let's set up the clutch throttle so that we can accomplish the same thing, right? So if my only task right here is braking right through this section, after I accelerate right here, I'm just braking, let's set up the clutch and throttle. Because it also, what people don't realize, is it makes the bike lighter. It makes it want to fall over easier, okay? So I'm going to start going quicker just to kind of have you see what I want. you got to be careful with these beamers. Your foot can get trapped when you drop a lot. So with these beamers also, eventually, the back end will start sliding a little bit. So the tires are getting grippy. I'm getting comfortable on the bike. I'm starting to get used to going fast and driving. But you'll watch my body move too. I'm over the front and back of the bike as I go, okay? So that's our oval. Now we'll get into the circle. And the circle, again, the advantage to a circle is this: it allows us to kind of live in this leaned over space, okay? So here, if I'm doing balance ball, I don't know what that drone's looking like, but if I'm doing balance ball, I'm living right here. If I'm pushing with my feet, I might do what's called crack to crack. It's the crack of the seat on the crack of your butt. So this is just getting me comfortable. Again, surface appraisal, getting my head and eyes around, picking up pace. Oh my goodness, the bike actually leans quite a bit, you know, but I'm just living here and my head is in the right mirror, the right side mirror, this right here. So that's kind of gives me an idea. Hey, I'm pretty leaned over, you know, I'm pretty balanced. So we're going to go the other way now. And I'm just slipping the clutch. I mean, can I ride it without the clutch? Yeah, I can. But, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. So that's the circle. Okay, the next drill we're going to do, we have two more. So the next one I want to do is the large figure eight. I'm sorry, yeah, the large figure eight. So the nice thing with this is, why do I like the large one? It's because it's forcing me, it's big enough for me to let the clutch all the way out. Again, one of the big things people screw up is, where can I accelerate on this course and go faster? If I'm always in the gray area, here I am in the gray area, now this becomes kind of a slow area, or I'm going to just fry my clutch. Okay, so I want to let that clutch out. But now, I don't want to catch it when I'm leaned over. Do I have momentum in a large figure eight? Can I go no clutch through here? Yes, I can. But it's a lousy way to practice. The odds are you're not just going to have a figure eight. It's going to go somewhere else. So you're going to need to be able to be in that gray area. So the large figure eight works on a lot of what we did with the oval. So I'm just going to walk you through some early setup, balance ball. I'm on the brakes, I'm overlapping controls. I'm driving that front brake a lot of the way into this turn. I'm not actually off the front brake until I'm about at the orange cone. So I'm off it right here. So almost, it's called the apex, but so I'm still kind of trailing the front brake, even right here. I kind of just like a nice smooth front brake. Now let's talk about, listen to the motor if you can. I'm trying to set that up early. Okay, so I know what the surface appraisal's like. I'm used to having this thing fully engaged with the clutch all the way out. I'm catching it early. I'm getting up over that bike. Trail braking in. I don't need to push down with my legs on this because it's not so, this isn't really a rapid transition deal. I'm not doing a clutch pop because this is just coming in and off of heavy acceleration into a nice turn. Okay, so that's our big figure eight. So now we're going to go from here to this smaller figure eight. All right, the purpose of the smaller figure eight, what I say, is about a 20 feet between the cones, and it's about 16 feet in from edge to edge. So the advantage to this now is we're full lock. And in order to do this well and comfortable and get the bike over, now I'm staying on top of the bike. So if you watch my weight, when I push, watch how close my head gets to the front, to the windscreen when I'm here. I'm not pushing, I'm not living back here, okay? I'm living up here, up over the bike, okay? Now in this case, I am doing a clutch pop, and I am pushing down with my feet, and I am full lock. So one of the things I forgot to mention that I also recommend that we work on, and it's on my notes. If you go to policemotortraining.com, you'll see this sheet that's taped to my tank right now. This sheet is on my website, so you can practice these drills. And full lock circles are on here as well. So I did the bigger circles. I forgot to do the smaller. So here they are. So I'm, again, kind of like with the bigger circles where you're getting comfortable living in a position. Sort of the same idea with the smaller circles. Just want to get my head around, and I'm living here. The trick with circles isn't so much doing a circle. It's the transition into and out of. And it's the same thing with like using your clutch where it's in the gray area and you're slipping it. That is not that hard once you start working on it. What's hard is going in and out of it efficiently. It's the same thing with doing circles. So I recommend these full lock. So again, I'm going to just quick get over the bike, push with your legs. I'm still using a little front brake right here. I just feel like a little bit of front brake plants the wheel better for me. I just like it. These Beamers, this telelever front suspension, it tends to bob a little bit, and I feel like the front brake kind of helps calm the front a little bit. So I'm not sliding. Somebody had asked me, they said, I watched a video where you had a camera mounted on the back of your motorcycle and you were moving your butt around a lot. I said, no, actually I'm not. The bike's moving around a lot. So if you look at that, I'm not moving at all. I'm right here. It's the motor that's bumping around, the motorcycle, not me, okay? So I think that should about cover it for all these drills. But what you're going to notice when you work on these things is your motorcycle turns tighter than you think. It goes faster than you think. It brakes harder than you think. And just jumping in a tight cone pattern isn't going to expose any of those things, nor is it going to make you comfortable getting to that place, that threshold place. Sorry, I'm breathing hard because, I don't know, maybe I have COVID, who knows. But that's the idea of these drills. And this is something, and to be perfectly honest, I only really set these orange cones up for a visual aid for you guys. I would, if I was actually coming out here to do this or to warm up before I dropped into a pattern, I wouldn't do any of this. I wouldn't set any of these cones up. The measurements aren't what's important. What's important is you work on the drills and you work them nice and smooth, okay? Slow is fast. Just remember, speed, or I should say a faster time in a cone pattern, those are byproducts of doing these things right and doing them smooth and being comfortable with them. Wherever you are on that mountain of skill, enjoy the process. Don't try to get to the top. There's no place to get to. This road goes on forever, okay? There's always somebody bigger. There's always somebody better. There's always somebody faster. So let's all just relax, okay? Just have fun. I don't want you to watch this video and think to yourself, man, I need to practice more. I need to get my priorities right. I'm not good enough. There's no such thing as not good enough. You are where you are. You're as good as you are for now. Same with me. So enjoy this journey and come out and have fun. Just have fun. because none of this really matters. This is not a life or death scenario that we're even encountering today, okay? So just have a good time. If you have any questions, let me know. If you work on these things and you want to send me a video, feel free to do that, and I will evaluate it, and we'll break it down, and we'll talk about things you could do different or better. And as I said before, this sheet that I've taped to my, as a rule, I always do that. I take notes. I don't want to just go out and kind of meander around. I want to make notes. Like, what am I going to work on? What are the key points in different situations? So then I tape it to my tank, use a little masking tape. At motor competitions, I'll have the same kind of sheet on here. It might not look fantastic, but when the stopwatch looks good, I feel better about it, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had a good time. Go slow, start slow, have fun, enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the journey, okay? That's all I ask. All right, thanks. Have a great day, guys.